Good morning. Hello, Zoom friends. Welcome to Sunday morning worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. My name is Heidi Gould. My pronouns are she, her. I have short silver hair and glasses. I'm wearing a denim blue dress and a bright rainbow stole. I am your worship associate this morning, here with today's worship team, our musicians, sound and Zoom techs, children and youth volunteers, greeters, and hospitality team. We are delighted to help create a friendly, inclusive space for everyone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, you are welcome here and belong here. If you are visiting us for the first time this morning, there is a handy guide to Sunday morning worship that will give you all the information you need to know about accessibility, our low stimulation room, and the online order of service. If you didn't get one on the way in, just raise your hand and one of our greeters will be sure to give you one. And now, a welcome to Ember.
Hi, I am Ember. I use they, them pronouns. I am going to be serving as our ministerial intern for the next 2 years. And I just moved down from Portland, and so I am excited to hear all of your favorite things to do in Eugene.
Today we are exploring the playfulness of the universe. So I invite you to bring your whole self to this worship hour. Let us begin with the lighting of the chalice, symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith. Finn, if you would come join me. Finn will be lighting our chalice this morning as I share these words from Melanie Davis. Under the right circumstances, playing with fire is a delight. Imagine being gathered round a fire pit as the crackling flames invite us to sing, dance, and roast a marshmallow or a bag or two. Our chalice also invites us to play, although with ideas rather than with marshmallows. The flame encourages us to explore who we are, who our neighbors are, and in the days to come, finding joy along the way and where we are on our spiritual journeys. Today, we light this chalice in the spirit of play. Let us trust the light to guide us in this hour and in the days to come. And now, let us say together the words of our mission, which affirm our shared purpose. Empowered by love, we transform ourselves and serve this world.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I love the ears. Hey, everybody. My name is Jen Youngsun, and I serve this beautiful congregation as its ministered, as its settled minister. And today, I am wearing a white blouse and black pants and a kind of tie-dyed pink and purple stole. I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm very, very glad to see all of you today and to play with you. So some of you therapist types may have heard of a man named Charles Schaefer. He was a psychologist who started play therapy. You knew him personally. Okay, so Charles, your friend, once said, "We are never more fully alive, more completely ourselves, or more deeply engrossed in anything than when we are playing." We are never more fully alive, more completely ourselves, and more deeply engrossed in anything than when we are playing. So I want to ask you, the youth in the back, how do you like to play? And if you're not quite a youth, if you're a little bit older, when you were a youth, when you were a child, how did you play? How do you play? What do you like to play? What do you like to do when you have time to play? This is pretty fun here with the balloons. Yes?
We used to construct villages for the roly-polies in the yard.
You used to construct villages for the roly-polies in the yard. You gave them housing instead of exterminating them. Yes? Ping pong. How fun. Hide and seek.
A big pile of dirt.
Oh, a big pile of dirt. Riding bikes. Swimming. Marbles. Jump rope. There was a gigantic hole in the ground, so that would have been my answer, because in the woods behind our house, we just dug this gigantic hole for no apparent reason. So today we are going to be exploring the world of play, and I invite you to just relax into the playfulness. If this gets to be too much for you, we do have a low stimulation room in room 1. Come, let us worship together.
Yep, thanks. Good morning, my name is Ryan. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Director of Religious Exploration, but I'm gonna just stand up here to invite kids, youth, whoever might wanna be up a little bit closer for perhaps a magic trick or two, to come on up, because there is someone up here named John Roy who would like to show a little bit of joyfulness, share with y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
My name is John Roy, he, him, and Stephen King, not it. Not it. We're going to play Not It with Stephen King. I'd like to begin with a little music. The kazoozaphone. That's enough of that. As I was saying, John Roy, he, him. I'm a 79-year-old white male wearing a lot of purple and black and a red clown nose. And I have a 3-hour lesson plan. But I really I'm a 3-trick clown. By that I mean I did birthday parties for many years, and I would do 3 tricks throughout the program. And today I'm going to do the first of 3 tricks, and if I forget the third, remind me. Can you see this? To be or not to be. To be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing, end them. I have just one rule. It's called the golden rule. Who knows the golden rule? Do you know what the golden rule is? What's the golden rule? Treat others the way you want to be treated. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Thank you. I'm going to do a short sermon called the Shoe Sermon. The Shoe Sermon. We are all like this shoe. We have eyes, but do we see? We have a tongue, and the shoe has a tongue. But does it speak? Do you speak clearly? No. And the soul, our soul, the shoe soul, S-O-L-E, S-O-U-L. I really am trying to shorten this up. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. Groucho Marx. This is what we've done in small groups with your age group, talking about the place of me, I, mine, and ours, we. The reason I'm signing is because for 34 years up in Salem, I was a teacher at the deaf school. And how many of you know this sign? Love. It means letter I, personal pronoun I, L, L-O-V-E, Y-O-U. I love you. That's the meaning of that. Now here's a comedy of sign language. Do you understand? Well, that's kind of like pasteurized milk, which is not in sign language. It's not. My second trick, fear, is a trick about fear. Up to the right, to the up, down. I have a little short poem called What If? Last night while I lay thinking here, some what ifs crawled inside my ear and pranced and partied all night long and sang their same old what if song. What if I'm dumb in school? What if they close the swimming pool? What if I get beat up? What if there's poison in my cup? What if I start to cry? What if I get sick and die? What if I flunk that test? What if green hair grows on my chest? What if nobody likes me? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? What if I don't grow taller? What if my head starts getting smaller? What if the fish won't bite? And what if the wind tears up my kite? And what if they start a war? And what if my parents get divorced? And what if the bus is late? And what if my teeth don't grow in straight? And what if I tear my pants? And what if I never learn to dance? Everything seems swell, and then the nighttime what ifs strike again. Okay, let's sit down right over there, please. Thank you. Griffin, would you come up and help me? Would you stand over here? And would you put these, and this is a little bit dangerous. Is anybody afraid of blood? Okay, cover this one thumb. It's still there. It's still there. And then we get Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for my last song, you probably would like to hear me play Over the Hill and Far Away, but I'm not going to. I'm going to play right here. Thank you very much. Oh, somebody remembered. Let's see what it says here. Third trick. Okay. Not third trick. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, nothing up this sleeve, nothing up this sleeve. Thank you.
There's a nose on the floor.
Oh, my gosh, nose is falling off. Got noses everywhere.
Thank you so much, John Roy, for reminding us that even with all the seriousness in the world, it is important to keep a little joy and laughter and magic with us.
As we move into a time of sharing our joys and sorrows, I want to remind our friends on Zoom that you can put your joys and sorrows into chat, and I'll read them in a few minutes. But I also wanted to acknowledge that, people come here every week in all different states of mind and heart. And I know that some of you are actively mourning the loss of loved ones right now, and some of you may not be in the mood to play. And some of you may not be in the mood to bounce a balloon around the room and laugh. And that's okay. Our service about play today takes away nothing from what you're feeling and what you're carrying today. We know, of course, that everything in life is just all squished together, right? All of the happy things and the funny things sitting right next to things that are just unspeakably heartbreaking. So I just want to acknowledge that today as we share with each other the joys and sorrows that are in our hearts. And of course, there are many, many joys and sorrows that we hold in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. I hope that you know that this congregation holds you lovingly, and we are here to accompany you.
I'm Gary Ray Gray, and I'm going to be talking about whimsy. I'm of the elder cohort with silver short hair and a t-shirt, sky blue t-shirt that says, "I'm just another catless." What does it say? I'm just another catless. Childless. I'm just another childless cat lady.
Welcome to the club.
You betcha. Okay. I'm here to talk about whimsy, what it is and what it isn't, and why adding whimsy can make our lives more interesting and even happier. Certainly, whimsy cannot take away our physical and emotional hardships. It can't take away our financial problems or make the broader world a more peaceful, accepting place. But it can bring momentary delight to our lives. In fact, it can bring many moments of delight and escape from the daily frustrations that we all experience. So what is whimsy? I went down the rabbit hole of the web looking for definitions, and this is what I found. Okay, over to this side, you have fanciful, imaginative, playful. And then over on this right side, capricious, arbitrary, careless, erratic, unproductive. I know. I thought the same thing. Now, to define whimsy with the word capricious brings in that negative connotation that led me further into some definitions, such as whimsy is something that is intended to be strange and humorous, but in fact has little meaning or value. Or this, whimsy is behavior that is unusual, playful, and unpredictable, rather than having any serious reason or purpose behind it. Lexicographers seem to have a conflicting relationship with whimsy, so I'm going to make an executive decision. Forget this side. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. How can anything that brings delight into our lives be considered to have little meaning or value? To have no serious reason or purpose? Who here made mud pies as a kid? Oh, look at this. Did you show your friends and your parents? Were you proud of your creations? How can such a fun activity be considered without purpose? Whimsy is a mechanism for bringing laughter and delight into our lives and is therefore very valuable and purposeful. And I will say a very good habit to develop. Now, do you have to have a Willy Wonka kind of fantastical adventure to have whimsy? No, no. Then how? Well, I submit that everyone knows how to get whimsy, but we've just forgotten. Perhaps we've grown up just a bit too much. When was the last time you took off your shoes and walked barefoot in the grass, even if it was wet? Yesterday. Yay! Those of you with access to dirt and water in your yards, make some mud and stand in it and go squish, squish, squish with your toes. Make a mud pie, feel the sensuousness of the earth, and get reminders of those childhood joys. Take a stroll in the park by whatever mechanical mechanism that allows you to stroll, and stop. Feel the world around you. The next time you hike in the forest, slow down, stop. Hear and feel the life in the trees, the birds, the buzzing insects. Go watch a Marvel movie at the IMAX. By the way, Deadpool and Wolverine is raunchy, but it is a hoot. Seek out whatever joys that bring you delight. Now, for me, whimsy is very, very connected to mindfulness, because you have to open up your mind and your hearts to see those small things around you that bring you smiles. And you have to quiet yourself long enough to see those things. One of my favorite quotes is by a photographer by the name of Minor White, who was a contemporary of Ansel Adams. Minor White said, "If you could stop the shouting of your own thoughts in your ears, you might be able to hear the small voice of a pine cone in the sun." Whimsical experiences are all around us if we notice, and we can make our own. To close, I'm going to show a clip from my #1 touchstone movie, Avatar. In this clip, the heroine Neytiri is going to fly Seze, which is her dragon-like creature that she has a bond with. I'm not overstating when I say that this scene changed my life, and I revisit it regularly. Now we're going to do a whimsical exercise based on this clip. Okay? We're going to do an ee-ah. We're going to open ourselves up and get out of our comfort zones on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ee-ah! Wowie, zowie, that was great. We're going to do it one more time because I want you to have that ee-ah in here. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Ee-ah! Wonderful. Now take that ee-ah out of the sanctuary into the rest of your day. And remember to call upon it whenever the world gets a little bit too poopy.
For warming us up, because now we're all loosened up and ready to do some laughter yoga. I bet some of you have done this. It's a little weird at first to pretend to laugh when there's nothing to laugh about or at, but that's what we're going to do. And so the first thing I want to invite you to do is to ask your critical voice, the one that says, "You look stupid," or "This isn't something that you really want to do," right? Take those critical voices and just tell them to hang out and be quiet because we're going to play now. So the first thing I want to invite you to do is to do something we've been doing all morning, which is to clap. So 2 times and then 3 times. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. And now, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. 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 That was great. That was great. So that was so good that you get to have your own cheer. And this cheer is very good, very good. Yay! Very good, yay! All right, so we've got another one, and this involves kind of a deep inhale. So laughter yoga was created by a medical doctor in Mumbai. He noticed that his patients weren't getting well, and so he gathered a few of them in a park, and he started doing these exercises with them. So when we do this next exercise, I want to just make sure that you're not overexerting yourself, especially if you've got COPD or if you've got some lung issues, breathing issues. You can pass on this one. But the benefit of doing laughter yoga is that when you laugh, you're basically exhaling, right? And you're exhaling for a long time. And when you exhale longer than you inhale, that really reduces the amount of cortisol, stress hormones in your body, and it increases happy hormones. So that's one of the things that we're going to do now. Take a deep breath in, and then ha 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 ha. Do that until all the air is out of your body, right? Let's do it again. Inhale. Very good, yay! Very good, yay! Okay, so the last one is telephone. Although these days it's not like this, right? It's like this. So pretend you're on the phone with someone, and maybe they're in this room. You can look at them, and you're having a very funny conversation. Very good, very good. Yay! Thank you so much for playing with me. Well, hopefully this morning we have generated a lot of happy hormones by playing together like this. You know, like a lot of working adults, I spend a lot of time in this very serious grown-up world. Deadlines, accomplishments, meeting other people's expectations, constantly thinking about next Sunday or next month or next year. But really, all I want to do is play. Work and play are often taken as opposites and mutually exclusive things. You're either working or you're playing, right? You're either being productive or you're being lazy. But that dualism comes from the marketplace, not the heart space. So when I say I want to play, I don't mean that I want to quit my job, okay? What I really want is to live and work playfully. That's what I really want. Alan Watts, one of the most effective teachers to bring Eastern philosophy to Western minds, taught that much of our collective anxiety comes from our desire to control and predict an uncontrollable and unpredictable world. This futile endeavor just leads to more suffering rather than liberation. Instead of trying to control the ever-changing nature of life, Watts encourages us to live more playfully, because playfulness is the nature of the cosmos. And when we live according to the play principle of this natural world, instead of the principles of the marketplace, then we live in freedom. So, what is play? Well, play has been observed across species, and this activity has survived across genetic time. Sure, it confers some social benefits and some group survival advantages. And even though humans are hardwired to play well into our elderhood, too often adults see play as something that's silly, immature, something that maybe had its proper time in childhood, but certainly not now. We who are all grown up, we will approach things like going to the gym or even doing laughter yoga as a means to a greater end. Lower stress hormones, greater bone density, rather than seeing it just as a time for play. People who have seriously studied play have found that people have different kinds of play personalities. So there is the joker, someone who just outwardly enjoys fooling around with their friends and colleagues and telling jokes and playing practical jokes. There are those who like to play with words and ideas and thoughts and sentences. There are people who like to play with their bodies and their minds, kind of exploring the limits of each. And then there are the whimsical, exhibiting interest in unusual things, amused by small, everyday observations. Some of you, like someone in the back who talked about creating little villages, like to create worlds, explore worlds, and create other worlds. And some of you play by collecting things, rocks and shells and Pokemon cards. Others of you tell stories, You direct plays, you paint pictures, you make new things out of old things. So, picture yourself playing right now. Maybe this is something that you're going to do when you get home this afternoon. Maybe you'll do it by yourself or with family or your friends, your animal friends. Whatever this activity, whether you're doing it alone or with others, this play by definition is voluntary, it's self-chosen, self-directed, and it's something that's just inherently attractive to you, like you want to do it. It pushes against your limits, and it rides that line between the natural capacities and the skills that you have, and that's enjoyable, that line between that and something that has enough challenge, so that it's not too boring. When you're playing, you experience flow. You know what flow is? That feeling like, wow, I don't know where the last 3 hours went. When you're playing, you loosen your consciousness of your constructed self, because when you're playing, there's no need for a mask, right? Because in the playland, you can trust yourself and you can be yourself. So when you're playing by yourself, it's a pretty safe way to feel that freedom of just being, But when you're playing with others, that's a whole other adventure, right? Earlier when I asked you how you played as a child, I'm wondering if some of you may have felt uncomfortable. Maybe you had some memories from childhood of play that wasn't so great. When playing with others, there's always that risk of excluding someone or causing unintended harm. And throughout the course of this service, if that happened to you today, I really want to apologize to you, and I want to ask you to talk to me about it if you're comfortable with that. And so when we do play together, let's pay attention to making sure that the ground rules are clear, and that a true invitation to play means that declining play carries no cost, that it's perfectly okay to say no to play. The author and anthropologist, anarchist, and activist David Graeber describes play as the exercise of our best powers, whatever those skills, talents, and capacities are, but in the interest of nothing at all. Both Graeber and Watts celebrate the pointlessness of play as one of its best features, and claim that there is a play principle embedded in all levels of physical reality. The physical universe is basically playful, Watts says. There is no necessity for the universe, if you think about it. It isn't going anywhere. It isn't trying to go anywhere. The universe doesn't have a destination or a thought that it should arrive at some point, right? It just is. The modern world is so wrapped up in actions that lead to a measurable outcome. Everyone is expected to have a destination and a goal for everything that we do. But playfulness, the playfulness of the universe, invites us to do a thing just for the sheer pleasure of the doing of it. In the 1930s, a Dutch historian wrote an enduring book called Homo Ludens, literally the playing human. It says that we are foremost characterized by our inclination to play, and this instinct to play is what gave birth to what we call culture, human culture, the arts, literature, music. Now, industrialization was supposed to give us all more free time, right? So that we could explore Homo ludens. But Homo economicus loves the work-play dichotomy, flying the work harder and play harder banner. Homo economicus demands that we produce more at lower costs every year. It demands that we stay in the office longer, work a little harder. But we are not that. We are Homo ludens, and the power to play can free us from an economic system that makes the rich richer, the poor poorer, and workers stressed and exhausted. For the last several weeks, we have been witness to the rise of playfulness and laughter in a most unusual place. And that is electoral politics. Why is Vice President Harris laughing so much? Because she is free. Journalist Ashley Clark, who identifies as a Black woman, wrote an article about Kamala Harris and her laugh, saying that each of her laughs feels like a celebration. Each laugh demands to be noticed, and that is a problem for her opponent. Her laughter lives in antithesis to the long-held beliefs of people who refuse to believe the struggles of Black women in America, but are enraged when we have the nerve to enjoy ourselves and the boldness to succeed in fields that they historically dominate. You can't bind a Black woman who is free. And when the laughter spreads, it becomes a seismic rebuke to everything that exists to put us in our place. End quote. Adrienne Marie Brown developed something called pleasure activism, where she proclaimed that feeling good is not frivolous. It's not silly. It is freedom. Pleasure activism is the work we do to reclaim our whole, happy, and satisfied selves from the impact and the delusion and limitations of oppression and supremacy. Pleasure is not one of the spoils of capitalism. It is what our bodies and our human systems are structured for. It is aliveness and awakening. It is gratitude and humility and the joy and celebration of being the miraculous beings that we are. Joy. The world did not give it to me. We keep looking externally for things that are going to make us happy. If we click on that button, if we buy that thing, if we consume that thing, then we'll feel good. But joy does not come from the outside. It is an intrinsic gift that we all have. Each one of you has the capacity to play, and in that playing, to find your own kind of freedom, and in that freedom, you will find joy. May it be so. Amen.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. This morning's offering goes to support the many programs of this church and helps keep the lights on and the flame lit. As the basket, please don't feel pressured to give, especially if you're visiting us for the first time. Any offering that comes freely and with joy will now gratefully be received. Blessed be.
Thank you, everyone.
Now let's say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this service. Go play, go in love, go in peace, everyone.